I'm gonna catch all 151 Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow without trading to another game. Yes, I'll be using glitches, but I won't use memory corruption or item underflow. They break the game in a way that's less interesting to me, and it would make the journey incomprehensible without heavy explanation. Start the game, I'm I rivals you, Pikachu's P. No choice in starters, but we'll have them all soon enough. To optimize for time, I'm not catching Pokemon the first opportunity I get. I wait for the ideal level to catch them, so Pidgey is not my first catch. As Caterpie can only be found in Viridian Forest, it's my first target and it's caught. Once I touch down in Pewter, it's time for the first glitch, Trainer Fly. There is a trainer new to Yellow version in Viridian Forest. I intentionally did not battle him. I glitched the game using my escape rope at the same time as I get spotted. I use the Diglett of the junior trainer in the gym to knock me out. When I re-enter the forest, there's a wild Gengar haunting the exit. The Trainer Fly glitch allows you to load wild Pokemon encounters as long as you know the special stat of the last Pokemon you battled, as that will correspond with the index number of the Pokemon you encounter. I have a mostly accurate map of Trainer Fly locations, as trainer Pokemon have consistent stats, but wild Pokemon do not. Links in the description, though this is for Red and Blue and I have to adapt for Pokemon Yellow. Anyway, after one failed attempt due to atrocious catch luck, I catch Gengar. I named him D for Dracula. After steamrolling Brock, the next Pokemon we catch is Clefairy in Mount Moon, which we immediately evolve into Clefable using a Moonstone. I choose the Dome Fossil over the Helix, and after dealing with Team Rocket, I hit the first real brick wall. Before leaving Mount Moon, I must catch one Paris and two Clefairies. Their encounter rates aren't that low, but they're easy to accidentally knock out. I eventually catch Paris and my second Clefairy. Sandshrew has technically been available to catch since Route 3, but his flexible areas have allowed me to put him off until now. After healing at the Cerulean Pokemon Center, thanks Paris, I eventually catch myself a Sandshrew. To get Bulbasaur without needing to level up Pikachu, I exploit another glitch. The Bulbasaur trainer will give you her Bulbasaur depending on Pikachu's happiness stat, which you can just grind up by using potions on Pikachu when his health is already full. Just like that, my initial goal of getting all the original starters has jumped the first hurdle. As I slowly grind my way through Rival and Nugget Bridge, I need to point out that Gengar is not as fast as you'd expect, since Nightshade can't exactly one-hit KO enemies and has somewhat low PP. This means I eventually need to resort to Confuse Ray and Lick, both of which are inconsistent and unreliable. Still, I can't exactly lean on Bulbasaur alone. Anyway, I get the Charmander from the Crestfallen Trainer and get the SS ticket. On Route 5, I drop Charmander off at the daycare and we hit our next roadblock. Here we catch two Pokemon. The first is the rare and low-level Jigglypuff, which we immediately evolve into Wigglytuff. That alone can take a long time, but the second Pokemon, Abra, is its own type of hell. Abra can only teleport, which in Gen 1 has a chance to fail for reasons. 3 strats are viable: Paralyze on turn 1, then throw balls, Confuse on turn 1, then throw balls, or just throw balls from the start. I do a little bit of all 3, and they all fail at least once. Eventually, I catch Abra, and he allows me to move into the next Trainer Fly, probably the most famous one. I set up a Trainer Fly on a Route 24 trainer hidden in the grass using Abra to return to the Pokemon Center. I fight the trainer in the Cerulean Gym. Swimming towards you is just as good as walking, and my return to Nugget Bridge is greeted with a different kind of gold, a level 7 Mew. I failed this twice. First time I forgot to set Bulbasaur to get precious XP from the battle, and the second time Mew fainted from Leech Seed. Third time was a charm, and I got my dedicated HM slave. I immediately taught him Thunder Wave to make Pikachu as obsolete as possible. My Bulbasaur evolved into an Ivysaur during the swimmer battle, and he proceeded to destroy Misty's gym by losing to a Goldeen. Peck is not to be messed with. Thankfully he made up for that by destroying both of Misty's Pokemon and earning the Cascade Badge. Once I'm at Vermilion, I head back to Route 6 to set up a Trainer Fly. I avoided all the trainers on Route 11 until I catch a Drowsy, and I beat the trainer whose last Pokemon was Magneton. This meant my return to Route 6 got me a Magmar. Magmar is a pretty frail Pokemon and has a low catch rate, so he's actually pretty hard to catch. Almost ran out of Pokeballs, but I got him. I made sure not to forget the Body Slam TM or the rare candy on the SSN, and I eventually get cut and teach it to Mew. I collect the bike voucher and beat Lieutenant Surge. I used the TM he gave me to teach Thunderbolt to Gengar and got the Squirtle from the police officer outside. Finally, I have access to all 3 of the main starters. Gengar is quickly approaching an 85 special stat, so I gotta start strengthening some other pokes to rely on. I head into Diglett Cave and start fainting Diglets with Squirtle. I also catch one of the Diglets. Diglets are pretty frail, aren't that strong, and give you speed stat experience. And as long as you switch in when they use Dig, you aren't in much danger. On the other side of Diglett Cave, I trade my Clefairy for Mr. Mime. Just because I'm not trading to other games doesn't mean I avoid in-game trades. I collect the old Amber at the museum, Squirtle evolves into Wartortle, I get the Charmander out of the daycare, put Ivysaur in, get my bike, and put away the old Amber I forgot to deposit. The first trainer on Route 9 has a ton of grass Pokemon that are experience fodder for my Charmander, letting him get the experience to evolve into Charmeleon. Spare experience for other Pokemon is also valuable when Rock Tunnel has some tanky pokes. Our next catch after Diglett is on the 2nd floor of Rock Tunnel, or 2nd floor basement, I'm not sure actually. I catch a level 22 Zubat, which I immediately use one of my rare candies on to evolve it into a Golbat. This is the main strategy of the rare candies, evolve Pokemon as quickly as possible and save potentially valuable trainers. Here I also catch a Machop and an Onix. After a pit stop in Lavender Town, I make it to Celadon, get the Eevee, get Fly, and teach it to Mew. In the grass of Route 16, I finally catch a level 24 or higher Rattata and a Spearow. Using my remaining 2 rare candies, I evolve both of them. I put Abra in the daycare after realizing that Ivysaur wasn't a good Pokemon to put in there. Abra wasn't a good choice either. I should have put Diglett there from the start to have something good for Lavender Tower, but whatever. I proceed to spend all my money. I buy 1 Thunderstone, 2 Firestones, 3 Waterstones, and 3 Leaf Stones. I immediately use 1 Thunderstone to evolve Eevee into Jolteon. I head up to the roof, buy 1 Water, 1 Soda Pop, and trade in the Soda Pop for Rock Slide. I enter Saffron thanks to my water bottle before setting up a Trainer Fly on Route 6, using the same Trainer Fly setup I used for Magmar. I fly to Pewter City, get into a Walker Battle, and then return to Celadon City. Burning my Walker Battle is important when the target trainer can't do it by themselves or is after an HM usage. Setting up the Trainer Fly glitch locks you out of the menu until you go into a Walker Battle. I specifically fight the trainer to the right of Erica. My goal is to faint on her first Pokemon, Weepinbell. I also lower its attack stat 6 times. Jolteon is the main way I do this, since his speed stat makes sure that he can always get off at least 1 growl. Weepinbell's moves are just status moves and wrap, so getting this right is really hard. Eventually I correctly white out and find the toughest Pokemon to ever guard the Route 6 checkpoint, Golem. I catch him and name him M for Megaton Dan. Megaton Dan is level 1 thanks to the growls on Weepinbell, and for reasons that are way too complicated to explain, giving him less than 80 experience will make him level 100. I use TMs to teach him Body Slam, Dig, and Rock Slide. Probably unnecessary. If I don't really care about the experience of battle, I can use Golem to run over teams with no resistance. He serves as a means of stabilizing this run. If my Pokemon have bad stats or planning went poorly, I can just lean on Golem to get me through roadblocks. I set up another Trainer Fly and encounter the top right trainer on Route 8. The battle with this trainer actually evolved my Caterpie into a Metapod. This lets me catch a Scyther. Scyther is actually available in the Safari Zone, but no. I go through Rocket Hideout with Drowsy and Ivysaur battling while Metapod and Sandshrew leech some experience. Eventually, Metapod becomes a Butterfree, and we get the Sylph Scope. Now very importantly, I buy Repels in the shop along with multiple Great Balls. I go into the Rock Tunnel and set up the Trainer Fly glitch there using one of the lasses. I mentioned Diglett being a better choice for the daycare, and it's because the only Pokemon I have that can reliably outspeed and one-hit KO the ghosts is Golem. A well-trained Diglett would have sufficed, but my planning for the tower was poor. Now I have to use Golem with all the experience going to waste. While here, I look for a level 24 Ghastly, catch it, and immediately use a rare candy to get a Haunter. Thankfully, there's a spare rare candy near the top. I hit another roadblock in the form of catching 2 Cubones, one to evolve and one to trade. Sometimes you get lucky and get them early, other times you wait 30 minutes. Once that's settled, I fight Team Rocket on top. Once they're beaten, I make sure that I have a high-level Pokemon, in this case Golem, in the lead and use my Super Repel. After talking to Mr. Fuji and making absolutely certain that I pick up the Pokeflute, I head back into Rock Tunnel that I set the Trainer Fly glitch in. Now obviously Team Rocket has a different Trainer Fly encounter than in Red and Blue, since their encounter is completely new to this version. Giovanni's Pokemon, for example, will get you Tentacool, Shelder, and Psyduck. In Pokemon Tower, Team Rocket's Meowth will get you a Tangela, the Arbok will get you a Hitmonchan, and in the most fitting encounter so far, Weezing will get you a Koffing, which I set up to catch in Rock Tunnel. Catching low-level Pokemon is starting to become trickier with my strengthening party, but I eventually catch Koffing. Now that I have the Pokeflute, Team Rocket regroups in Silphco, which enables me to complete Golem's moveset. On floor 3, the teleporter in front of the stairs will take you to an enclosed room where a woman will give you the TM for self-destruct. With Golem knowing self-destruct, I now have complete control over the final Pokemon of my opponent. As much of a hassle as he was to get, Golem is the stabilizer and safety net of an extremely unpredictable run. Before I head over to one of the Snorlaxes, there's something that needs to be discussed. I've mentioned the different Trainer Fly Pokemon in this version, but something unusual happens after using the glitch for Koffing. You see, if you try to find Mr. Fuji, he's gone. He's not in the house, he's not in the tower, and if you didn't take the flute, that's gone too. For all the absurd stories that people tell about Lavender Town, one that never seems to make any waves is that you can apparently softlock yourself by killing Mr. Fuji. At least he's in the right town to be buried in. Snorlax is tricky to catch with my weird team, but I eventually pull it off. Afterwards, I head over to the tunnel entrance south of the daycare to trade my Cubone for a Machoke, which immediately evolves into a Machamp. This is the only one of the trade evolution Pokemon that's available via an in-game trade. I set up 2 Trainer Fly encounters in a row. Using the first trainer on Cycling Road enables me to encounter Hitmonchan, a Pokemon that is available but is part of an exclusive choice set. Using my freshly restocked Great Balls, I catch Hitmonchan. The second Trainer Fly uses the third trainer from Cycling Road to get Pinsir, because fuck the Safari Zone, I get to catch this bug without needing to throw any rocks. I pick up the hidden rare candy on Route 17, and on this same route I catch 2 Pokemon. I look for a Doduo that is level 28, the highest level that it can be found, and then catch it. I also look for and catch a Ponyta. Both of these Pokemon will be very useful soon enough. Crossing Fuchsia City to enter Route 15, I catch 3 Pokemon. I catch an Oddish, which I immediately evolve into Gloom with a rare candy, and evolve it again using a Leaf Stone. I next catch a Bellsprout with the same treatment, rare candy, Leaf Stone. The final Pokemon here is Venonat. Venonat can take a while and it has some annoying moves, but it's not too inconvenient. With well over 50 Pokemon caught, I get the XP All from the nearby aid. Now that an active Pokemon can get XP, I build a team to take advantage of this. Cubone, Drowsy, Doduo, Diglett, Paris, and Wartortle, all ready to take charge. At least that's what I thought at the time. After teaching Doduo Fly and Paris Cut, I set up a Trainer Fly and went to the first trainer from Lavender Town on Route 12. This gets me a Tangela, who is normally catchable, but it's in a place of evil and sadness. And caught. I battle a few trainers on Route 12 to gain some experience, but level ups are fewer than I expected. After clearing the other Snorlax, I get the Super Rod. In Route 12's tricky to access grass, I find Farfetch'd and the highest level Pidgey you can find in the wild. Farfetch'd is the simpler catch despite the lower encounter and catch rate. Pidgey's Whirlwind makes this much harder than you'd expect, but I eventually got one. While here, I use my new Super Rod to catch a level 25 Horsey in the area. After returning to Saffron, I set up a Trainer Fly and head into Silphco. After burning the Trainer Walk on a Scientist, I beat the Rocket who's guarding the door key. I collect the key before digging my way out of an office building. That Rocket's final Pokemon nets me an Electabuzz, a Pokemon that is completely unavailable in Yellow. Caught. The experience gained from battles lets me finally take on the Celadon Gym. Funnily enough, even had I used Gengar all the way here, I likely still would have used Doduo because the single special stat means that all the grass Pokemon are surprisingly tanky against fire and psychic. So the physical fly attack and eventually drill peck lets me collect all the spare money, all the spare experience, and the Mega Drain TM, which I'll use soon enough. Fittingly, Doduo evolves into Dodrio before earning a respite by being deposited and swapped for Pidgey. Since my Pokemon are not gaining experience at the speed I wanted, along with the painfully slow text that the experience all includes, I decided to solo grind with Drowsy. I defeat some of the cue balls on Route 16 to eventually get a Hypno. Now leading with Golem, I set up a Trainer Fly. In Fuchsia Gym, beating the first trainer on the right and returning to the Trainer Fly setup will have you meet a friendly Ammonite. Also, this trainer is a huge step up in difficulty, hence why Golem's in the lead. Catching this relatively accessible Ammonite is also why I got the Dome Fossil. After catching Ammonite, I head over to the daycare and swap Abra for Omanite. Abra is above his evolution level of 16, so any level up will do. Also, it's only this far that money is really becoming an issue. While the experience of trainers is helpful, their main benefit is just being able to afford new Pokeballs. After stocking up on Ultra Balls, I set up another Trainer Fly. The second to last Pokemon in Koga's gym is my target. After finishing off his final Pokemon, my Trainer Fly location now holds a Dratini, who is normally available, but that requires giving myself high blood pressure in the Safari Zone, or gambling addiction in the casino. I'm already an alcoholic, I don't need more addictions. So I just catch Dratini in a standard manner. Before all this, however, my Abra evolves from the gym trainer's experience. I would like to point out that the inspiration for this video was JRose11's Catch 'em All videos, so be sure to check out his stuff, or he'll teleport and whack you with a spoon. I set up another Trainer Fly for Koga specifically. His first 3 pokes would get you a Psyduck, Golem, and Magmar. His final one gets you a Flareon. With only one Eevee, we gotta find a way of getting the other Eeveelutions. Caught. I finally teach Gengar Mega Drain and use all my vitamins on it. Now we finally enter the place where dreams go to die, the Safari Zone. I came with the intention of only catching 3 Pokemon, Nidoran Male, Nidoran Female, and Execute. Once I catch Execute, I immediately used a Leaf Stone to evolve it into an Exeggutor. It took much longer than I expected, but I eventually caught both the Nidorans above level 15. The extra time searching was beneficial, however, because it meant that over the course of 3 searches, I actually managed to catch a Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is the hardest Pokemon to catch in the game since it doesn't have a consistent spawn, reliable catching methods, or Trainer Fly potential. My original plan was to make it a final boss of sorts, but things turned out much nicer. After getting Surf Strength and a rare candy, I used the Super Rod to reel a Magikarp in the little pond in Fuchsia City. This is the only place you can find Magikarp at level 15 outside the Safari Zone. It's a pretty simple catch. With all my business in Fuchsia taken care of, I swim to Cinnabar from Pilot Town. Completing my collection of fossil Pokemon, I give the scientist my Dome Fossil to get Kabuto, and my old Amber to get Aerodactyl. Alright, so getting to Cinnabar Island allows Gengar to become our permanent battle handler. There are 5 Pokemon that don't have simple Trainer Fly locations that would be beneficial to catch them in that way. The special stat that correlates to Trainer Flying them is 85, 105, 112, and 149. Of all these Pokemon, only 112 and 149 are flat out impossible to get by any other means on this single cart. However, as 85 is the best indication of overcoming roadblocks, I decided to make it our first example. I level up my Gengar by battling some Silphco rockets with low special stats. I used 2 calciums to get my special to 85. Then I set up a Trainer Fly. Though slightly before this, I used 2 of my rare candies to level up my Nidorans and used my last Moonstones to evolve them further into Kings and Queens. After burning the walk on a random route, I head into Cinnabar Mansion. On the way to the bottom floor, I caught a level 38 Grimer. I wasn't really looking for it, but I won't look a gift blob in the mouth. Eventually, I encountered Ditto. I specifically switched to my Gengar to get the Ditto to match the special stat of it when it transforms. Then I run away and dig my way out of Cinnabar Mansion. When I return to the Trainerfly location, I find a wild Raichu blocking my path. Even though Pikachu is the first Pokemon you can catch, he cannot be evolved through a Thunderstone, and though you can catch another Pikachu through Trainerfly, it will act exactly the same as your starter. Also, don't catch the Ditto if you're doing this glitch. It will default the Ditto's special stat. Anyway, I catch the Raichu. Heading back into Silphco, I get experience and money by fighting all the rockets here. Helpfully, Gengar also learns Hypnosis, an extremely helpful move for catching other Pokemon. Eventually, Gengar's special stat approaches our second number of 105. With the purchase of 1 extra calcium, I hit that number, set up another Trainerfly, and head back to Cinnabar to meet Ditto once again. The 105 Trainerfly gets me Vaporeon. Vaporeon and Raichu actually do have trainers that will work for the Trainerfly glitch, but they're in very awkward places. I catch Vaporeon and continue on the Silphco grind. I collect the gift Lapras and approach the stat of 112, the first mandatory Ditto Trainerfly. Another Trainerfly setup before I meet Ditto, the 112 special stat gets me Weedle. As weird as it is, you cannot normally get Weedle in Pokemon Yellow. After catching Weedle, I put him in the party while I finish up Silphco. By the time I get the Master Ball, I also have a Beedrill. At the Saffron gyms, my focus primarily went into managing experience. I rearranged my team to Dratini, Ponyta, and Magikarp, hoping that a party of 3 is better for evolving and training Pokemon, especially now that I have a strategy for lower level Pokemon to gain experience. X accuracy doesn't work in this generation the way it should, it just makes all your attacks hit no matter what. I teach Ponyta Horn Drill, and by strategically using it with appropriate stat raises, it lets me beat a few trainers in the Saffron gym. The experience evolves Magikarp into Gyarados. I beat enough of the gym and dojo trainers with Gengar, and then clean out the rest of both gyms with Horn Drill Ponyta. This lets me get the prize Hitmonlee. While shuffling around Pokemon at the PC, I use a rare candy to evolve Grimer into Muck. It's been a while since I've caught any Pokemon, so I start on that. After selling the Psywave TM, I stock up on Ultra Balls and head to Pallet Town. Finally using my Super Rod again, I find the surprisingly common Staryu and catch it. I immediately evolve it into Starmie with a Water Stone. After being annoyed by all the checkpoints on the way to Victory Road, I fish at the pond along the way. There I find a Poliwag and catch it. I evolve Poliwag twice, using a rare candy to get Poliwhirl and a Water Stone to get Poliwrath. On Route 18, I fish for Shelder and catch it. I immediately evolve it into a Cloyster using my final Water Stone. For the final fishing Pokemon, I head over to Route 24. I fish for a level 30 Goldeen, which can actually be somewhat of a roadblock, but I found it pretty quickly this time and caught it with no trouble. My next target is a somewhat random choice, but while I'm getting all these water Pokemon, I head over to Route 6 to surf in that little pond, which is curiously the only place to find Psyduck in Pokemon Yellow. Its relatively low level makes it a simple enough catch. I head over to the Powerplant. 2 wild Pokemon are caught there, Magnemite and Voltorb. I find a rare candy in the Powerplant and I use it to evolve the Voltorb. Now for the roadblock that basically everyone knows about, Zapdos. My team is normally pretty decent about providing consistent damage and status with Gengar, while providing long-term endurance with Golem. Zapdos' level jump completely throws this out the window, and shifts Gengar's value into a slot machine with a time limit. After 8 minutes of trying, with both low health and sleep, Zapdos is caught. Returning to the daycare, I swap Ammonite with Koffing. I stole the Mimic Girl's Nugget, sold it for money, and surfing with Ammonite I beat 2 trainers on Route 20, not the 3rd, he's too important. Then I beat everyone on Route 21 with Gengar and Ivysaur to train up Ammonite. The training continues into Pokemon Mansion, where I fought all the burglars. They mostly have fire Pokemon, which my Ammonite can take on now, and they all give crazy amounts of money. Also, since I'm not glitching, I finally take the time to catch Growlithe and immediately evolve it into an Arcanine using my Firestone. I also properly catch a Ditto this time. This is occasionally a roadblock, but I do this too often to really draw attention to it. Also, I had to remember to not switch into Arcanine since that Arcanine still knows Roar, something that could make Growlithe very tough to catch. With the secret key secured, I dig my way out, rearrange my party, and set up a Trainer Fly. I use Ammonite for Cinnabar Gym because even though they're all fire types, they mostly use normal type attacks, so I needed something that resisted fire and normal while still being able to deliver strong damage. The Trainer Fly setup with the first trainer from the Cinnabar Gym nets me a Vulpix, fitting as the instigating Pokemon is a Ninetales. After catching the Vulpix, I immediately evolve it into a Ninetales using one of my Fire Stones. Ammonite continues gaining experience through all the trainers, eventually evolving Pidgey into Pidgeotto. I stop at the 5th Cinnabar Gym trainer. I set up another Trainer Fly before facing the trainer, and my Trainer Fly setup is now occupied by a Meowth. I should also point out that my standard capture team includes Ivysaur now, since Poison Powder plus Leech Seed is a good combination for damage and status. I finish off all the trainers in Cinnabar Gym with Ammonite, until Blaine. After withdrawing Golem and Mew, I set up another Trainer Fly and face off with Blaine. I intentionally feint Mew before self-destructing on his first Pokemon. This is the value of Golem. You can end the battle when you want. I should also point out that I spent all my money on Ultra Balls before I fought Blaine to minimize the money lost. All this to cap off my Team Rocket Pokemon with Ekans as the Trainer Fly Pokemon. With that caught, I decided to finish off the list of uncatchable yellow Pokemon. I set up one more Trainer Fly and went into Pokemon Mansion. There is a trainer next to the area you fall from, and I avoided fighting him until now. After letting my Mew faint and having Golem self-destruct on his first Pokemon, I return to my Trainer Fly setup and encounter a Jinx. Jinx can actually be pretty hard to catch due to its low health and low catch rate, but it worked out. With Jinx caught, I now have all the Pokemon that are not catchable in Pokemon Yellow. I just have to evolve the lower stages and finish catching the ones that are already available in the game. Pokemon Yellow Blaine is much harder than he is in Red and Blue, so Ammonite is out of the question. I decide to use the Horn Drill strategy to get some needed experience for Ponyta, Pidgeotto, and Ivysaur. With Blaine finished, I only have one more badge to go. My initial plan of attack was to grind on various routes to get them ready for Giovanni 3, but after multiple attempts I realized that Viridian Gym was way harder than any of my unevolved pokes could even remotely handle. So I just went through with Gengar doing the battles while Dratini and Wartortle leached some experience. I managed to defeat every trainer besides Giovanni, because Gengar's special stat hit 148, which a spare calcium pushed to 149. With this special value hit, I set up a Trainer Fly. After running away from the Ditto transformed as my Gengar, digging my way out of the mansion, and returning to my Trainer Fly setup, I'm greeted with an Alakazam, a trade evolution Pokemon not normally accessible without another game. Now, my next action may seem a bit extreme, so I have to explain something. Alakazam at level 7 is too weak for my fastest Pokemon to hit without fainting it. He's also way too fast for any of the Pokemon I have with more reliable sleeping methods than Gengar. He also only has one move learned this early: Teleport, which functions exactly the same way it would for Abra. All this in mind, I use my Master Ball to catch Alakazam, finally catching the last Pokemon which required trading in this game. Giovanni himself is much harder than you'd expect for my Gengar. Dugtrio is not a one-hit KO, even with a crit, and it can semi-instant kill Gengar with Dig. Most of his other pokes also have Earthquake. Rhydon specifically is the biggest threat. I abuse X specials while Persian is out since it has no means of damaging me. With my final badge and a spare Oko TM, I leave Viridian Gym the victor. For the rival encounter outside the Victory Road gate, I swap my team to use my Ponyta, Pidgeotto, and Dratini. Again, using the X accuracy to make Horn Drill hit 100% of the time, combined with a well-timed X speed. With the last big battles before the Elite Four out of the way, I head to Route 19 and clean out all the trainers. During this time, I encounter a high-level Tentacool and catch it. All the money gained from the swimmers allows me to purchase as many Ultra Balls as I can carry, and I head into Seafoam Islands. This part took much longer than necessary because I didn't know that Slowpoke only spawns on floors 1 and 2 in yellow. Otherwise, I actually got decently lucky. I found a high-level Krabby and a high-level Seal back-to-back, catching both of them in short order, but it took long enough that I did this directly in front of Articuno. I eventually realized my mistake about Slowpoke and caught it after some backtracking. I guess that makes me the Slowpoke. With all the wild encounters done, I saved and got started on Articuno. Try 1, I got it to low health and status, but then it woke up and destroyed my entire team before I could catch it. Even Golem isn't immune when it has 4 times weakness and a poor special stat. Try 2, Articuno fell to the mighty Krabby. He could smell the victory. Try 3, Articuno died to high damage rolls on the second turn. Try 4, it took 11 Ultra Balls, 4 fainted Pokemon, single-digit health, and possibly some sealing magic, but finally, Articuno was caught. At 10 minutes of real time, this was longer than Zapdos, but much less frustrating since Gengar was much less frail. Articuno, however, could also snowball out of control since Golem didn't wall it hard like it could Zapdos. After digging my way out of the cave, I was only there for the Pokemon, I barely pushed any rocks. I set up a trainer fly and encountered the 3rd trainer from Cinnabar Islands heading towards Seafoam Islands. After beating this trainer, I was greeted at my trainer fly location by a rampaging Tauros. Tauros is available to catch, but I sure as hell don't have Ash's luck when it comes to finding or catching these things in the Safari Zone. With Tauros finally caught, I head over to the daycare and swap Koffing for Meowth, before heading towards Victory Road. In the grass before Victory Road, I encountered a Mankey and caught it. Once in Victory Road, I made sure to grab the rare candy over the TM for Sky Attack. I also catch a Pokemon you thought I already would have had, Geodude. I also go through the entirety of Victory Road without battling any trainers. However, if I was smart and put off getting Raichu and Vaporeon until later, I could have both from a trainer in Victory Road. You can get both Pokemon from the guy by the final ladder, Raichu from his first Pokemon and Vaporeon from his second. Regardless of what decisions were best, I attempt to catch Moltres. Only took 6 minutes and 2 tries, thankfully. First try used 11 Ultra Balls before Moltres annihilated my entire team, and on my second go around it only took 1 Ultra Ball. Having access to the perfect moves to inflict high, medium, and low damage along with sleep is really nice. And now, I've completed the bird trio. Now, for the Elite Four. My original plan was to use a combination of Ponyta, Dragonair, and possibly Blastoise with one-hit KO moves to cheese past the 5 trainer battles. This plan forgot an important detail. The Pokemon Yellow Elite Four and Champion are all much better than they are in Red and Blue. Dugong has Bubble Beam now, no Ponyta. Onix has Dig, no Ponyta. Gengar now has Mega Drain, no Blastoise. Also, the rival's first Pokemon is now the far more dangerous Sandslash, with 2 excellent moves in Earthquake and Slash. This actually caused my entire plan from here to the end of the game to change. So, my plan of action is now to simply beat the Elite Four with just Gengar and a whole lot of X items. Lorelie required 3X specials to safely OHKO Slowbro, though Jinx has a range. Bruno is easy as hell for Gengar. The only Pokemon I didn't one-hit KO was Machamp, who can't damage Gengar anyway. Agatha needed 3X specials because her second Gengar knows Psychic. Lance needed 2X specials and 1X speed. He's surprisingly vulnerable to special attacks, though outspeeding Aerodactyl is mandatory with how much damage it can do. Finally, the rival required a turn 1 Hypnosis hit, because Sandslash's Earthquake is a guaranteed knockout of my Gengar. My rival also required 6X specials and 1X speed. I also needed to set this all up against Sandslash because his next Pokemon, Alakazam, is an even bigger threat. I actually cheesed this battle pretty hard by using an X accuracy. It allowed me to Sleep Scum Sandslash and Exeggutor, whose great typing and special stat caused me to risk losing my move PP. Though a disgusting display of item abuse, I eventually became champion. Now here's where all my biggest failures came together. The issue I had with so few Pokemon being able to take on this Elite Four led to my practice run being much harder and much slower than I expected. The time between gaining the final badge to the time I evolved all my Pokemon was around 20 hours. That was painful to play, and would have been painful to watch. Instead, I have opted for a less honorable, but much simpler method. Missingno. Pokemon Yellow patched the easy method of encountering Missingno. However, there are 3 Missingnos that are stable in Pokemon Yellow, and their index numbers happen to be 182, 183, and 184. Wouldn't you know it, my Gengar special is 183. I put the rare candy I found in Victory Road in the 6th item slot. With my usual Trainer Fly into Ditto setup, I encounter Missingno, who doesn't look that scary anymore. I mean, it's not like the yellow palette gives it the impression of slimy bones with visible red organs. After running away from that strangeness, it's the familiar effect of 128 rare candies. Time for dessert. 11 rare candies for Charmeleon, 10 for Kabuto, 4 for Venonat, 2 for Cubone, 7 for Horsey, 1 for Geodude, 3 for Goldeen, 18 for Psyduck, 1 for Mankey, 3 for Sandshrew, 1 for Magnemite, 15 for Ekans, 4 for Paras, 3 for Diglett, 1 for Krabby, I wasted 1, 2 for Ponyta, 6 for Pidgeotto, 8 for Wartortle, 1 for Tentacool, 2 for Seal, and then I wasted 2 by accident, 6 for Slowpoke, 1 for Ivysaur, 15 for Dratini. Wait, was that it? No, I just ran out of spare rare candy, so I had to repeat the Trainer Fly setup. Although this time, Missingno took the form of Mr. Fuji's ghost. I ran away from him because I didn't want to return the Pokeflute. Sorry for the interruption. I waste 1 rare candy on Gengar for his patience. 26 rare candies for Dratini, 11 for Ammonite, 16 for Koffing. I take Meowth out of the daycare and use 14 rare candies on it to evolve it into a Persian. In my final bit of glitching, I set up 1 Trainer Fly and enter the Elite Four with only Mew and Golem. After a surprisingly difficult Lorelei, I annihilate Bruno and struggle through Agatha before self-destructing on her final Gengar. Upon returning to my Trainer Fly setup, I'm greeted with a wild Porygon. Porygon is normally available in the game, but requires the use of slot coins. Even had I just purchased the coins, this was still faster. My restrictive party also meant that my only strategy for catching it was lobbing Ultra Balls at full health. Surprisingly, this Porygon might have been the most costly catch of the entire run, as it took 21 Ultra Balls before I caught it. With my final Trainer Fly completed, all my boxed Pokemon fully evolved, and 146 Pokemon recorded in the Pokedex, I enter Cerulean Cave to end this. On my way to the bottom, I encounter a Lickitung that I accidentally fainted. Shortly afterwards, I encounter a Rhyhorn. After some low-level damage and hypnosis, he was caught. After that, in a surprisingly short amount of time, I encountered a Chansey. Chansey can be a nightmare to catch since it has evasion-increasing moves that make it difficult to weaken, but a saved X-Accuracy prevented that headache, enabling me to whittle down and hypnotize Chansey for an easy catch. However, in possibly the heaviest roadblock I've had, I would not encounter another Lickitung for 12 minutes. It was enough time for me to remember that I had to use a rare candy to evolve my Rhyhorn. Thankfully, there were 2 rare candies down there. I couldn't spare anymore. Lickitung's special and high HP meant I could Mega Drain its health down and put it to sleep for a first ball catch. All those Pokemon caught, I took on Mewtwo and got supremely unlucky and then supremely lucky. Mewtwo immediately one-hit KO my Gengar, and a Body Slam from Golem brought it to half health and paralyzed it. At this point, I tried a ball to no avail. After a second failed ball, Mewtwo used Barrier, which actually meant that Body Slam wouldn't knock it out anymore, enabling me to bring it down to red health. After a third failed Ultra Ball, the damage was too much for Megaton Dan. However, through the psychological intimidation of Mew's presence, Mewtwo was finally caught, with only my 4th Ultra Ball on my first try. With this, I've caught all 151 Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow without trading to another game. So this took much more time and planning than I was expecting. I managed to get all the Pokemon to fit in just 4 boxes, but that was mostly because an unexpectedly difficult part of this run was organizing and keeping track of PC Pokemon, which I barely mentioned because that's not what the video is about. Also, since the 151 Pokemon runs use the Missingno glitch to instigate the item manipulation, it isn't entirely out of the question that someone could do this for a run in this style, but I really doubt it could be reduced to below 15 hours. This could definitely have been refined. With my original plan of evolving through experience being thrown away, I could have just used Gengar through the entire game and then just used the Missingno glitch to clone some gold and rare candies. But all things considered, I'm happy with how this turned out, especially with Mewtwo as the finale, as that marked the end of my yellow playthroughs when I was younger. Never had anyone I could frequently trade with, but it looks like I didn't need one.